I'm off to pick up Hannah from her friend Mandy's house, and then from there we're actually going to go see. It's sort of like a documentary film. From my understanding, it's about deaf people and sign language and deaf culture, actually. Going back quite a ways. This guy actually found these really old films, literally in a skip, and luckily he had the forethought to then watch them, see what was on there, realised what he had on his hands, and actually had a friend who was actually active in the deaf community, and gave it to him, and now you have this documentary that he made. Very cool. But what I wanted to talk about today was the idea of subcultures, I think. Subcultures within the overarching culture itself. So, I've grown up in British culture, you could say. But then I don't only inhabit British culture, I also inhabit Welsh culture. And then you can narrow it down even more, and I inhabit Valleys culture. And then you can go even further down, I inhabit nerd culture. And you can keep doing this, because everyone inhabits multiple subcultures at the same time, along with the overarching culture of, wherever you're from, I guess. Now, it's always something I found very interesting, because these kind of subcultures exist on the internet too. Now, everyone knows about the internet bubble. For those who don't know, after I just said everyone knows, the internet bubble is sort of the idea that when you start to get into something on the internet, like, as an example, I'll take atheism, okay? So you start to get into atheism on the internet, and you watch a lot of atheists. There we go. You watch a lot of atheists talk about religion and they argue with stereotypically religious people, and you're getting a lot of that kind of entertainment on the internet. So what ends up happening, because it's worse recently, because things like YouTube and stuff actually reads what you're viewing and then suggests those sort of things to you, you end up almost insulated from everything else, because you're never gonna get, say, evangelicals refute atheism, or the benefits of religion on the mind, all this sort of stuff. You're not really gonna get them as suggestions, because it's completely opposite to what you watch. But what that means is you will never see a dissenting view. All you see is what you already believe. So at that point, it's almost mental masturbation. All you're doing is watching people who agree with you, unless you actively go and look at people who disagree with you. You're always going to see the same points parroted back to you. And don't get me wrong, that's not a bad thing entirely. It's entertainment. If you're watching stuff you already know, at least it's entertainment for you, if you enjoy it. And every now and again, someone can surprise you and tell you something you didn't know. But these subcultures we inhabit on the internet, they don't really mix in all that well with the world itself, like everyday world, not on the internet. So there's always that weird disparity. What is wrong with me today? I can't talk. Fuck. Anyway, there's always this problem where you'll meet up with people in your normal life and try to talk about things that you're genuinely interested in, because if you're like myself, you don't want to talk about inane small talk bullshit. You want to talk about something interesting and intellectually stimulating, because that's what you're exposed to on the internet all the time. That is what you watch. That is what you live. So when you go into the real world and you try to have these kind of conversations with people in your life, family, friends, work colleagues, it just doesn't work. It's not socially acceptable. People don't want to know, and you're shunned almost. You can get lucky and you can have a friend who watches exactly the same things you do, and then you can talk about that with them. But anyone else who has even slightly different views to you, most people don't want to talk about things that you watch on the internet. Most people are not interested in that sort of stuff. Politics, religion, sexism, all these different topics. Politics, I said what's wrong with me today? Seriously, what the fuck? Anyway, so my point is that you've got this weird sort of thing coming off from the internet with subcultures now, where you have an entire sphere of a subculture you inhabit that can only be expressed through the medium of the internet, because it just doesn't work in the real world, because people most of the time don't want to talk about those things. Again, you can get lucky, like I'm very lucky with Hannah, because me and Hannah very much enjoy talking about these sort of topics to each other, and we've been together, I think it's nearly 5 years now in September. I may have that wrong, it could be 4, don't judge me, I'm not with it today. Anyway, so I'm very lucky with that, because I can talk to Hannah honestly and truthfully, and we'll argue, don't get me wrong, we'll really argue and it can get bitter, but we're arguing about the actual topic because we disagree. You know, it's a stimulating conversation, and then at the end of it, we just say like, oh sorry, I got a bit thick on it, but it's important to me and it's important to you, and we both got a bit shitty there, but let's carry on. And that's the end of it, and we're very happy with that. My brain today, I'm very tired, honestly. I find it interesting because I've always had issues with that sort of thing, where I've always been interested since I was about, let's say, 13, in these different kinds of topics, mostly because of my exposure to things like Stephen Fry. I got massively into history as well. I really came to the internet, the internet community a bit late, honestly, but the TV I watched kind of did the same thing, to me anyway, where I inhabited a subculture that I had no one to talk to about it, because I wasn't active on the internet at 13, and my family didn't want to know, I didn't have any friends, so I was completely intellectually isolated, which, sucked. So when I got to the internet, it opened up a huge avenue for me, really expanded my horizons also. But there's always that thing of the amount of times I've tried to talk to friends that I have now, and my family about things I'm genuinely interested in, because I don't want to talk about inane bullshit like the weather or soap operas. I just don't care. It's not that meaningful to me, and I completely understand that it is meaningful to other people, and that is absolutely okay. That is just as valid as what I find interesting. It really is. There's no arbiter to say what is important and what is not important. If you're interested in it, it's important, If you've dedicated part of your life to it, it's important, because you're important, because you exist, okay? But my point is, it's not important to me, and it can be quite lonely not having anyone who shares your interests, just existing alone. This idea of the one-way conversation through TV, where you're just listening to people you enjoy listening to, don't get me wrong, but it's lonely because it's just you, Yeah. Sorry this conversation got a little bit away from me, but, that's kind of what we do anyway. We've never really kept on track with any conversation ever, and that's not what we're about. So, I'd like to say thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. This is something I've wanted to do for quite some time, these kind of things, YouTube, and I really think that it's good for me, and it's good for Hannah, and I enjoy doing it a lot, and I can't wait to get some people fucking watching. So if anyone ever does see this, thank you.